What is going on? I usually don't ever start my videos this way, but this is something that I feel like I definitely have to talk about, because I know a lot of you are in the same position that I am in right now, and I want to be able to help those who are in that position and need that motivation, or who just need to hear this. Or if you're listening to this, you probably yourself are in need of hearing this. Don't ever take disrespect from people who are in a worse position in life than you are. As a young man, I know how hard it is to get the respect that you deserve, even if you're giving the respect back to somebody, because as men, we are never respected unless we're making a lot of money. And that's just the way it is. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, but I'm also never gonna take disrespect from somebody who's in a worse position in life than I am in my 20s. I never come on here and flex. I never go on my social medias and flex, because I believe that never let them know when you're up, so you don't have to explain yourself when you're down. And if they're treating you a certain way before they knew you had money, remember that. Don't ever let that go. Never let people disrespect you or your accomplishments, because they never know exactly what's going on. And hate only comes from below, never from above. As a young man, you should always be focused on yourself and your future, and not on another person. And if you have people who are older than you, which is my situation, who are comparing themselves to you when they live mediocre lives, that to me is unacceptable. And I just wanted to come on here and talk my shit for once, because there are some people who are trying to give advice and think that their opinion matters, when in reality, I don't want to live the life that you live. Your life is my worst nightmare. The life that you're living right now in your 40s is my worst nightmare, because if I end up living that life, then I failed as a man. And I truly mean that. People like to judge books by their cover without knowing the full story, but I will never sit here and try to hate on another person when I know I should be focused on my own life. I'm running laps on you, and you're worried about me, and I am half your age. You're comparing yourself to somebody in their 20s. You're a bum. If I'm 40 years old and I'm still calling another person my boss, I have failed as a man, and I don't care what you think about that. At the end of the day, I'm still young. I'm still in my 20s, still building, very successful, but still building. I don't have to show you. I don't owe you shit. Who the fuck are you? Who are you, for real? And if I have to go back and work a job, I will, because that's how much I bet on myself, and you should bet on yourself too. Never let these old bitter people who see the light that you hold and the potential you have and hate that. They don't want you to succeed, because it will make them look bad and make their life look mediocre, because they are underachievers. Never dim your light for anybody else, and if you have to, let them know to their face. Let's get into the video. I hope that resonated with you. If it did, please leave a like and a comment down below and let me know what your thoughts on what I said was. If this is the first time that you're tuning in, my name is Lewis, and I am just simply documenting my trading journey. First and foremost, make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe, share with a friend. Let me know how your trading journey is going. Also, let me know how your trading week went. And I really don't want to talk too much. I have to get ready for the week myself, since I'm recording this on a Sunday. So let's just hop straight into the video. But before we do that, let's go into the sponsor of the video. All right, so as you can see right here, we are in the sponsor of the video, which is Tektronix PCs. If you're looking for the best quality PC with the best parts in the market right now, check out Tektronix PCs on Instagram. Their website is in the works as we speak and should be up very soon, but my discount code LVFLIP still works for 10% off, so make sure you take advantage of that. Their Instagram is going to be in the description, so go and check them out. Let them know you're coming from the Lewis Visuals YouTube channel and hit message them. They will help you out with that. My boy Mike always takes care of me. I'll put the video up right here of when he put a new case on my PC and also added some RAM. Apart from that, recently my PC started overheating and I was trying to figure out what it was. I was getting crazy temperatures, so I hit up my boy Mike from Tektronix. He took a look at it and got it back to me within a day. It ended up being the cooler for the CPU, not the GPU. We got that all figured out, put a brand new one in, and now we're back. So if you want to check them out, link is down in the description. Go and check them out. All right, here we are in the Discord. If you want to join the Discord, it is a free Discord. The link is down in the description. As you can see, we've been very active, and I am extremely grateful for all of you who are in here. If you're new in here, don't be shy. Come in here with good energy and keep the conversation going. That is all I ask when you join the Discord. If you want access to all of this stuff over here, you can hit the join premium. I am not doing one-on-ones right now. I just decided to focus on my trading for a little while. Probably bring it back probably next year, if I'm being honest, so be on the lookout for that. But apart from that, just bring good energy in here and you'll have a good time. If you're a brand new trader and you want to learn and ask questions, this is a very positive space. There's really no negativity in here, and everybody's gonna answer your questions because everybody everybody has a different style of trading, but we all come together when it comes to just trying to better ourselves and become better traders. But that's basically all I have to say for the Discord. Make sure you check it out, and let's head straight into the charts and start this video. All right, now we're in the charts. Thank you so much for making it this far. This is where the sauce is, so if you're new, please pay attention. I understand I am talking about very advanced things, so bear with me and then keep watching. Just the more you understand and the more you hear me talk, you'll start to get it eventually. If not, just go watch some of my older videos and then come back, join the Discord, and then ask questions, and then come back to the video, whatever you have to do. But let's head into the video and talk about what this week ended up doing. So we ended up having a Monday high of week all the way down to a Thursday low. This week I had a very good week. I started the week off bad. Monday and Tuesday were losing days, and then I ended up with a 3-day winning streak. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday won my trades on those days. I think on Tuesday I should have won. I just did something very stupid, but we'll talk about that once we get into those days. Like I said, this is the type of week that we ended up having. Obviously, we have levels up here that still haven't been hit, so I am bullish now, especially with the SMT that we ended up creating here with the S. But we'll talk about that in the next video and see what ends up happening, so make sure you come back to the next video. I know my charts look a little crazy right now, and I don't even blame you for it, because this is just what standard deviation traders charts look like at the end of the week, and we're about to start a brand new month and all that stuff. So I'm very excited. I've been learning a lot of new things when it comes to just power of 3 and like higher time frame candles, and just I'm excited. That's all I can really say. But I have to explain a lot of the things that ended up happening this week before I could even get into all that. But let's hop straight into Monday the 22nd before we do anything. So as you can see right here, with these standard deviations, we're bullish coming into Monday. Obviously a little bit bearish overnight session, and I took this short. I'll put it up in here, but I said I definitely have it in the Discord. Let me find it really quickly. As you can see here, I did take it on demo the night before just because I was testing some stuff out, but it doesn't count either way. It was a demo trade, but I was paying attention to what price was doing, and I wanted to see if it was gonna dump, and it did dump. So that is that trade. Let's get back to the analysis and everything that ended up happening this day. So like I said, being a little bit bearish but mostly bullish, expecting us to head to these levels up here. I came in and I had this standard deviation. Let me bring it down to the 15-minute really quickly. We ended up having this standard deviation here, tapping that standard deviation at 2 a.m. So basically London session, to then have just longs all day here on Monday. And I believe I was taking shorts up here, which I did catch a couple points, but then it just ended up reversing and taking me out. So I should have just been looking for longs. It took me a little bit to really understand this and why they reversed here and then just kept going up, and I understand it now, and that's why I had such a good rest of the week. But like I said, Monday and Tuesday I was just getting cooked because there was simple things that are now simple to me because I went back and studied. If you're not still studying, no matter how long you've been trading, fortifying your information, making sure that you have that much more conviction because you really understand a certain strategy or a certain concept within the strategy, then I don't know what to tell you. And same goes with journaling. You should be journaling no matter what. Doesn't matter how long you've been trading, you should be journaling. I actually have to journal tonight, and I haven't even traded since Friday. So that goes to it. I was doing some learning and obviously learned my lesson later on in the week, but here, this is what ended up happening. Either way, you can see with this standard deviation of London, this last manipulation leg, you could have taken a long. Honestly, at 9:30, there wasn't much of a retracement. I guess the only retracement was here after they took out the previous week high, which was just buy side liquidity. But it's like you don't really want to buy near a high or above a high either way. But this makes sense now because of these standard deviations over here, and obviously being at all-time highs, you know, you should just long them unless you have valid reasons to short like the rest of this stuff over here. But then they came out to the -2, which doesn't really matter, then led to these shorts the next day. But that's what happened on Monday. I took shorts and got cooked, but it's okay. As long as your management of risk is spot on, you should have no trouble. I lost 2 days, won 3, and my wins for those 3 days ate up my losses by a long shot. So let's talk about Tuesday here now. Tuesday the 23rd, very simple. There was an SMT up here. A lot of people didn't notice that SMT because the SMT was with YM. YM is a pair that I have been paying a lot of attention to, as you can see up here. YM is very important to SMTs as well. I was only paying attention to NQ and ES, but you have to add YM to that because YM, excuse me, that wasn't YM, this is YM. And like I said, if you pay attention to all three, you'll have a better chance of catching those reversals where smart money does come in because they tip their hand. They just show you exactly when they're gonna reverse. So there was an SMT with YM, as you could see. A lot of people didn't know why they were shorting on this day, and it was extremely clean. I took a long here, if I'm not mistaken, on this day. This was more back testing stuff, and I'll go into the lower time frames for here on Tuesday. But like I said, should have just took shorts, understanding what was happening. I took a long here somewhere and got cooked. Didn't make sense. And then after this day on Tuesday was when I realized what had happened, and then after that, the rest of the day days I was cooking. But let's talk about the lower time frames out of the way. 15 minute time frame here. You can see we have the SMT good. Then we have a change of state of delivery, which is confirming that we're gonna head for shorts. Here at 9:30, we come back into the change of state of delivery and dump. Very simple. If we go to the 1 minute confirmation, for the 1 minute showed me we were gonna go short, but I took a long. I don't know why, but it was just some bot stuff that I did. We all do it here and there, but after that I was like, okay, this makes sense. And the first entry trigger really was this. It was very simple. Here in the negative 0.5, there's always a retracement into a PD array. That is the best entry for entry triggers, unless you're trading rejection blocks themselves. You got a fair value gap entry, came back up into it, and then dumped. Very simple. 55 points. Could have caught on that, targeting the -2 before it started to chop. After that, if you didn't know that we were gonna go short for the rest of the day, I don't know what to say. We came back inside of here. It was the power of 3 at 10 a.m. was very clean on Tuesday. Open right there, chopped for a little bit, went up into a PD array above the opening price, and then dumped for the rest of the day. But having this here as your target with the -2, being very cautious of the the -4, excuse me, being very cautious of the -2, and then holding for shorts. And then longs ended up showing up over here, and I took it on demo. I didn't take it because I had already taken my trades, and I want to be very disciplined, and that's what saved me for the rest of the week, just being disciplined on these days. But we ended up having a 15-minute rejection block here that would have got you a nice long that probably would have hit the next day, but you could have caught easily 50 points out of this long very easily, and that's what I did. I closed at about 50 points, and then as you can see, we reversed and kept going higher. But that's all for Tuesday. Now let's talk about the days of the week that I smoked, which was Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. All these days I had winning trades, and I will put all the trades up here so that you can see them all, and I will explain them. So going into the 4 hour, for example, here, as you can see, obviously closing below bullish PD arrays, telling us price had changed in delivery. I was expecting us to come up into this 4 hour fair value gap, into this balanced price range, really use it as natural resistance, come up into it, and then keep dumping, continue dumping. I was honestly expecting this low, but then once I saw the SMT on Thursday, I was like, yeah, it's bullish for the rest of the week. But this is the idea. Higher time frame, I was very bearish. There was a volume imbalance on the daily, so you can see this volume imbalance right here. There was a daily FVG, fair value gap, and an order block over here, which will come into play for Thursday. But that is why I was bearish. That's how I formed my bearish bias. Already having an SMT at the highs, come on now, we are bearish. But let's head back to the 15-minute and bring back my drawings. So here on Wednesday, very simple. I was gonna take a short way earlier, but I hesitated a little bit, so I got in down here instead of up here where I wanted to. But it's okay, it happens. I caught my points and just got off the charts. I'm not gonna be upset about it. But as you can see here, we have a 1 hour order block on the higher time frame, which price comes back into. We have a 15-minute change of state of delivery, which price comes back into at 9:30. We have this manipulation leg with an SMT that if you anchor down, you have this low from Tuesday, which was my target. I had an idea that we would come down to that low or even lower where the volume imbalance and the daily fair value gap was. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna catch my 50 points, call it a day, caught my piece of the pie, and moved on. Let's go to the lower time frames really quickly. Now here we are on the 1 minute. Very simple. We had a fair value gap up here on the 15-minute. We also had an order block on the 1 hour. Standard deviations of this manipulation leg, last manipulation, and lined up perfectly. This is where I wanted to take my short. This is where I wanted to take my short initially, but I hesitated, so I just waited, and then they just started to dump. So I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna hop in. I know they're bearish because of this dump from the day before. They were very bearish, so I was like, all right, they're probably just gonna move lower, and I'm going to be a part of this move. I also did the same thing. I do this all the time. Right here, high, low, -1. They came, swept it a little bit, went up. As soon as I saw them come up after, not -1, -0.5. As soon as I saw them come up to the -0.5 and then start to leave, I hopped in right away. Hopped in immediately, and then I had my stop a little bit higher, moved it lower after they started dumping, and then after that, it was just history. Because we had liquidity down here, I just said, let me just wait. And then a lot of people got caught up here, but the kiss of death, they didn't understand that price always, this is a higher time frame liquidity level. This is the previous day low, key level. When price is heading towards a higher time frame level, they always do a kiss of death, and the kiss of death is a turtle soup or retracement right before that key level to entice people into heading into a position of the opposite side so that they could take that as liquidity and then run those levels and run their sell stops or buy stops depending on the direction of the market. So I told a couple people here once I hit my TP in my Discord, I said kiss of death question mark, obviously anticipating it, and as you can see, it retraced, chopped for a while, and then continued dumping. People were taking longs, and that's exactly what they wanted you to do. There was an SMT with YM again or ES, I can't remember. It's one of the two. I think it was YM that placed an SMT, but they were clearly bearish. We knew they were going to keep heading lower. I was just done for the day, and I had no issue with that. And you could see they came back back up. I think there was a 5-minute order block or something like that they came back up to on that day for the 10 a.m. power of 3. Yeah, I mean, we came into a 15-minute fair value gap for the power of 3. The power of 3 is very simple. Wait for 10 a.m. Wait for them to hit a PD array in the opposite direction of the bias, and then just take them in the direction that you want them to go. So here you waited till 10 a.m. They went up into this fair value gap. So at the fair value gap, knowing that they're bearish, and then just target whatever you want to target. But very simple here on Wednesday. Now let's move on to Thursday. Another winning day for me. Thursday the 25th. Very simple shorts, but I had an idea we would head into longs because we had this order block, and it plays on the daily chart. I'll bring it up here once again, and I know it looks crazy because of all the standard deviations. I'm sorry about that, but here we are. Standard deviation. Let me remove it now. This is the order block, so you can see it. This right here is the order block. I had an idea that we would come down to this order block and then continue higher. So I was looking for shorts up until the order block. After the order block, then obviously I was either going to look for longs or just get off because I had already won or lost, you know, whatever it is. Let's head into the trades that I decided to take. We were very bearish. I had an idea that we were going to be very bearish on this day at 9:30. I had an idea we were going to dump. Very simple stuff, honestly. I just kind of knew that we would dump because we had hit the -2 here, which is the order block, but hadn't tapped the order block itself yet, or the opening price of the order block itself. So I had an idea that they would pump up, and they started to pump here up to this fair value gap. And if you pay attention to just order flow in general this day, they were just very bearish. As you can see here on the higher time frame, obviously is better, but we have just bearish order flow here. It's just extremely bearish. Like, I don't even know how to explain it to people, right? This is the kill zone for London kill zone. Then price action is just bearish. They're respecting bearish PD arrays, disrespecting bullish ones. Lows are getting taken, highs are getting respected. Every time they come up to a down close candle, they respect it and keep dumping. So I was like, yeah, they're gonna dump. I thought they would come up to this order block at least and then dump, but they just tapped the fair value gap and started dumping. So I shorted as soon as I noticed that. I shorted, and then I had an idea that this was the manipulation of the start of the move. So, and ended up being correct, obviously, but never guaranteed. So I just got out with 52 points, got my money, and didn't really care after that. But let's head to the lower time frames to really explain it here. So right before 9:30, they started to pump into the 15-minute fair value gap. I entered a long here, and then they ended up break even, and then I noticed that they were gonna start dumping once they just did this. Once they did this down close candle closed like this, I knew they were gonna dump. I said, we're bearish, so they're gonna respect bearish PD arrays. I was gonna take this fair value gap, but I decided to wait a little bit longer to get that confirmation. As soon as I got the confirmation, I entered short. I actually entered a little bit earlier than this fair value gap with my stop like up here above the halfway point. I should have just waited till they tapped it, but sometimes they're just so bearish they just keep going. So I got in, targeted those 50 points, and then let it go. I'm having an idea that it could reverse at me at any point because I was bullish after the order block was hit. Then they dump a little bit more. Honestly, could have got a lot more out of the trade that I took. I got out with like 53, 52 points. Could have got 100 points out of that. It's okay, don't need to be greedy. But after that, for the rest of the day, they just kept going higher. They had hit a rejection block on the 4-hour. That's where they stopped leaving. They really only left a 2-minute to 3-minute order block entry. For those of you who understand it, you probably ended up catching it. This order block here, could have took that entry there, stopped below this low for 14 points. There was a lot of volatility on this day, so that's why I was just happy to get in and out very early. I was out before 10 a.m. on all these days, and then you could have caught so many points with a long here. It's ridiculous. Up to 300 points probably. Well, 258 points. That's ridiculous. And like I said, I was bullish after that, but I had already made my money and got out of the market. I don't need to be in the market if I already had made my money. And I mean, here, if you use the standard deviation after they hit the 2, they were going to reverse. They reversed back into that order block and then took off. They also had a lower time frame, 1 minute inverse fair value gap entry that could have been used, honestly. Yeah, an inverse fair value gap on the 1 minute. They had a 1 minute rejection block. A lot of people don't like to take the 1 minute rejection block, so it's up to you what you really see. But they had many entries here on Thursday to go long, but like I said, I was already out of the market. Now let's move on to Friday, the last day of the week. I was trying to end the week off very well. I had an idea that we were bullish because of this SMT here. There was an SMT with YM at this low, and I believe with ES as well. And then my idea is, okay, they're gonna be bullish. So if you take these standard deviations over here, on the lower time frames, you could see very easily that there was a move that was gonna come up here to then head for shorts. I caught the long into the move move. I had this level here as well that could have gone long, but they gave no entry trigger, so I just left it and then caught a long off a fair value gap on the higher time frame. I'll explain it all, but there was also SMTs here as well as here, so that's why I was a leaning bit more bullish. And then something about these levels here as well that I'm not going to talk about on the channel yet, but those are also reasons why I was bullish, and that's why I took the long, honestly. But let's head into the smaller time frames. Let's head into the 1 minute and explain this day. So we come up here and then just dump, right? We start dumping, and up here, because we had news, dump before 9:30. At 9:30 they dump one last time, come into these levels, right? I was actually gonna long at the 12 o'clock open, if I'm not mistaken, 12 a.m. open right here. I was gonna take a long if they swept it, but they never swept it. They didn't give any entry triggers, so I just waited. Honestly, I took a long here. They stopped me out break even. I then waited for them. Actually, no, I took a long here, excuse me. Didn't take a long here. I took a long here because of this order block here. All right, this is a change of state of delivery. We have an order block here. I'm just waiting for them to come back to the order block. There's an inverse fair value gap over here as well. I'm like, okay, this is a good area to go long. I had the idea that if they do want to dump, there's a rejection block on the 15-minute up here, so I could either target the rejection block or just get out right before the rejection block. So I just targeted 51 points. Very simple. I got in here first. I was up, then they came down, took me out break even. Entered again after I saw them reject this inverse fair value gap. Entered in there. Stop was initially below here, but then moved it to 10 points once they started to move up. Then they started to chop a little bit, but I was very, very confident that they were gonna go up at least to the rejection block if they were gonna dump, and then that's what happened. Then they dumped and continued to go up for the rest of the day, leading to that bullish narrative, like I said. But also something that I did here was taking a negative 0.5 retracement or reaccumulation, whatever you want to call it. This is the silver bullet zone. Took that, and then that's the reason why I took that entry in there. I said that they're gonna swoop this and retrace. They're gonna come back into this fair value gap. I didn't know how deep into it, so I just waited. I didn't take this. Luckily, they didn't just pump after that, but they came back one last time. I took this break even, saw them come a little bit lower into the order block, and then push up again, and that was my entry. I put the video up as you saw it, but that's basically it. That's all I wanted to talk about. These are the trades that I took this week. Hopefully you had an amazing week, and I'm going to carry the same energy to the next week, so please come back next week for the next video. And like I said, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know how your trading week went. Let me know how your trading journey is going down in the comments. Join the Discord, link is in the description. Check out Tektronix PCs as well, the link is down in the description for that. And make sure you pay attention to what I said in the intro of this video, because I meant every word that I said. Don't ever let anybody disrespect you, especially when you know you have a lot of potential. But that's all I have to really say. Thank you so much for watching this video. I will catch you in the next one. Peace out.